Learning is something that is seen as good and right in society today. This means that if you dedicate yourself to it, you are seen as doing something right or doing something good. This means you can have a high degree of self-confidence if you dedicate yourself to learning. Dedicate yourself to acquiring new and more knowledge, to acquiring new skills and new credentials. You don't need me to sit here and tell you that learning is a good thing. That's not what this episode is about, right? You're down here on this planet and learning is an absolute of your existence. You will be learning every day for the rest of your life, some of you more than others, because let's face it, some of you are just more bent in the direction of learning than others. Some of you actually love it. Some of you love learning that process so much you'll be learning much more than other people. But learning is something that all people will do for the rest of their lives without exception and no matter what. Today, though, what I'm asking from you is for you to become aware of a shadow that can use learning, education, schooling, to hide behind. In order for you to understand this concept, I'm going to begin by presenting you with a few examples. Lauren is 32 years old. She grew up in a wealthy family. She never wanted for anything. She knows, even as an adult, that anytime she gets into financial trouble, her parents will bail her out, and anytime she really wants something, they're going to get it for her. She's never really had to put her energy forward in order to see that she's capable of achieving anything. As a result, she doubts her own capability. It's a deep insecurity within her. Lauren lives like an adult dependent. When she thinks about really stepping into responsibility for her life and picking a career or starting a business and getting serious about it, she gets so intimidated. It feels like her life will become all work and no play. The idea of all of this pressure becomes so overwhelming that she looks for a way out of the pressure. So she enrolls in a HubSpot marketing certification program. This certification program is just the latest in an absolutely never-ending list of certification programs and schools that she has attended. She has a bachelor's degree in human services, and a certification in Reiki, and a real estate license, and a global travel professional certificate, and a certification to call herself a Qigong instructor. She also went to school to learn how to be a mechanic to work on cars, as well as to become an ACE certified softball coach. Lauren knows that doing this will buy her time. Lauren knows, even if this is at a subconscious level, that her parents see education as something that is a worthwhile expenditure of time. They're going to actually invest in this illusion of her forward progression and keep paying her bills. Okay, so got away from that stress. Second, she doesn't have to have a self-esteem collapse because she can tell herself, no, I'm doing something really valuable. I'm learning something new. Down deep, she hopes that one day, with enough knowledge and enough skills and enough certifications and enough credentials, she might actually feel capable of taking care of herself, of being responsible for her life alone. This means that Lauren is focusing on learning and doing yet another certification program to avoid the feelings of inadequacy, as well as the fear that she has about being responsible for herself and her life. But she doesn't really use the certifications once she's done with them. In other words, this never-ending hamster wheel of enrolling in some kind of educational course, getting some kind of certification or credential, it never actually really amounts to anything. It's not like this enables her to do something. It's just a hamster wheel of learning. For your second example, Taylor doesn't really know what to do with his life. He's not one of those people who was born with this inherent knowing that he was meant to be a doctor, or he was meant to be a lawyer, or he was meant to be an artist. He's kind of blank when it comes to this. The problem is that Taylor's father has a lot riding on his son's success. He can't feel like he's a good dad unless his son is traditionally considered successful within society, and so he pushes his child a lot. Taylor's dad finds it absolutely unacceptable that Taylor does not put effort into his life trajectory, that he seems to enjoy partying more than anything else. To get his dad off of his back about his life trajectory, and also to make it so he doesn't feel like total crap about himself and he can avoid actually looking at the fact that he doesn't know what he wants to do, he just enrolls in a really expensive college. Taylor doesn't know what else to do with his life, so he figures he can get his undergraduate years out of the way in the same way he did all the rest of his school years, by attending courses he hates about things he has no interest in, and doing just enough to pass. He can party hard in college, but his dad will be proud to say to people that his son is in college. He can feel good about himself telling other people he's in college. And he doesn't have to take responsibility right now for what he wants his adult life to look like. His hope is that one day he will suddenly become interested in something and suddenly know what he wants to do with his life. For your third example, Matteo was always told for his entire life that he was meant to be a famous actor. It was in fact an idea his parents enrolled in so intensely that they put him straight into drama school. They drug him from casting call to audition. That was his whole life. It was what enabled him to be in the position of the golden child within his family. Anytime Matteo tries to do anything else with his life, he feels like he's doing the wrong thing. But down deep, he's not entirely sure that is his destiny. So anytime he thinks about really going for it, really going for becoming a famous actor, he actually doubts his ability to succeed at it. He's afraid if he moves to Hollywood and seriously pursues acting, he will fail. This will cause him to lose his special status in the family and to feel so much shame about himself that he doesn't think he can actually survive it. When he is offered at the last minute to play a pretty prestigious role as an actor on a stage in a play where the director has very strong ties to Hollywood, he turns it down. Instead, he decides that he's going to enroll in film school, which, by the way, is a decision that everyone else in the film industry keeps telling him is the worst idea he's ever going to make, and that he will regret the whole thing. Here's the thing. Matteo really feels that this is the right step, because he doesn't actually think he can achieve things right away. He doesn't think that if he goes straight to Hollywood that he's just going to make it as an actor. He thinks this is just not going to work for him. Remember that feeling that he's going to fail? So Matteo feels he needs an in-between step to increase his confidence. This way he can tell himself he's still on track to become a famous actor. He's still going in that direction, but he sure as hell isn't taking any step that causes him to feel that lack of confidence and like he might let his family down or prove to himself that he isn't as special as his family always led him to believe that he is. For Matteo, going back to film school is him falling back into this chronic pattern of his of preparing to prepare to do something. So here's the shadow. I'm going to spell it out for you. The shadow is that learning, things like school, education, training, certification, internships, degrees, etc., can either be something that helps you to take responsibility and causes you to progress and expand and therefore really adds to your life trajectory, or it can be the exact opposite. It can be something that helps you to avoid responsibility. It can be something that helps you to deny, suppress, disown, and avoid deep traumas and feelings related to insecurities about your competence and capability, as well as the fear of failure. And it can be something that keeps you in limbo, spinning your wheels, wasting your time, and putting things off to the point that it keeps you perpetually stuck in life. The tricky thing about the shadow is that when you're caught in it, the idea of going back to school, or the idea of doing another certification program, or the idea of putting yourself in that position to learn again, will feel like it's the right step to you because you'll feel such a palpable relief when you think about doing it. But that palpable relief isn't because it's actually a step forward in your life. That palpable relief is because you're getting some pressure off by being able to avoid something. So, if you're worried that you might be in this pattern, I want you to look at that relief that you have when you think about attending that program or getting that certification or attending that college or whatever it is. And I want you to see if that relief you feel might be motivated by the fact that doing so, learning, is enabling you to feel like you're getting away from some unwanted experience. Energetically and emotionally speaking, does it help you to move away from something uncomfortable or to take off some kind of pressure or to avoid something unwanted? And I want you to ask yourself the following questions. Consider whether you are putting something off. What might that thing be that you are putting off? Do you notice a lack of bravery inherent in your choice? What do you not feel brave about? Do you notice an aversion to responsibility inherent in your choice? What scares you about responsibility? What might be preventing you from going directly for your passion? Pretend that schooling is not a step towards your passion. What might you do to fulfill that passion of yours in another way? Would you still do that thing if there was no schooling for it? Do you feel like your life has been planned out for you? Do you feel like your destiny is written for you and that you should be something specific or should be doing something specific? Why are you being passive about your life or passive about what you want to be doing in your life? If learning is something that you are dedicating yourself to in order to avoid something else, that it is either an absolute stuckness where you are or even a backward step. It is not a forward step in your life. In order to know what the right step for you to take is, and in order to make the right choice, and in order to actually move forward in your life, you're going to have to face whatever it is that you are avoiding by dedicating yourself to learning, to schooling, to education, to certifications, whatever it is. And this includes facing the fact that you are using learning as a way of avoiding something in your life. Have a good week. If you liked this video, be sure to share it, like it, and also subscribe to my channel so you can see more content like this. But I want to personally thank you for taking the initiative and having the bravery to step into the space of awareness, not only for yourself, but for the benefit of those around you.